I'm Laura Harris-Smith. Welcome to today's Daily Pin Code. First of all, are you liking this series? I hope that you are. I need to hear from you. Give me a like if you're watching on Facebook. Leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on. I've had somebody that's already suggested that we need to create a DVD at the end of this and sell them. So, I would just like to hear from you along the way, though. Leave me a comment on YouTube. I love to hear from you however you can. If you're on the original veteran database, then send me an email. We're starting on the book of 1 Samuel. Author, we don't know if Sam wrote the book or not. We know that in chapter 10, verse 25, it says he wrote a book. But historians believe that he probably contributed along with two other historian prophets at the time, Gad and Nathan. And we read about them in 1 Chronicles 29:29. Date written? Well, originally, the books 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel were one book, and the translators of the Septuagint, they separated, and they've maintained that separation ever since. It spans about 100 years, and it's thought to have been written between 1100 and 1000 BC. Purpose of writing? Well, the book of 1 Samuel, it takes place and documents everything in the Promised Land during that time in Canaan when Israel was moving from judges to kings. And so really the prophet Samuel, he emerges as the last judge, and he anoints two kings in his career, and they are Saul and David. Did God really want Israel to have a king? Well, that leads me to the key verse that I'm going to say for this chapter, because Samuel, it says in 1 Samuel 8, verses 6 and 7, that the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to judge us." And Samuel prayed unto the Lord, and the Lord said unto Samuel, "Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them." And I just want to throw this in here. The book of Samuel can really be neatly divided into two chapters. 1 through 12 is all about Samuel. 13 through 31 are basically about the life of Saul. I think you cannot read this book, especially the first couple of chapters, and miss just the beautiful petition of Hannah's prayer. She wanted a son. If you'll give me a son, I'll give him back to you, and she did. Whereas the last part of the book really deals with Saul, his turning away from the Lord, which led Israel away from the Lord. So I don't know. I just think the first part is about submission, and the last part of the book is about rebellion. And in fact, this isn't necessarily one of my favorite key verses, but this is a verse I quote all the time. And in it, Samuel said to Saul, "Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry." Go back and read that story in 1 Samuel 15. What was Saul doing that was so wrong? Did he murder people? Did he suppress the people? No. He led the people in a burnt offering, in a sacrifice to worship the Lord, when Samuel had told him to wait on him to get there and do it. And Saul told him, "Well, you were delayed, and the people wanted to do this, and I thought it'd be worshipful to the Lord and give thanks to him." And that's when Samuel quoted this verse. So that is our practical application today. Sometimes you do things and you're like, "I felt like the Lord said to do it," and your heart is good. I think Saul's heart may have been good. So just think about that. The next time you want to be rebellious or stubborn, that's more than rebellion and stubbornness. According to this book, the book of Samuel, it is witchcraft. It's not about sacrifice. It's about obedience. And all of this sets the stage for David, whom the first book of Samuel says had a heart after God. That is what God sees. All right, I'm Laura Harris-Smith. Of course, tomorrow is going to be the second book of Samuel, but it's very different. So tune in and let's learn all about that. I will see you tomorrow on today's Daily Pin Code.